Still an underappreciated gem. Welcome to my channel, KC, that's me, Carrie Chug, the Sledge Storyteller, here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling and to open up discussion about how we can tell the best stories we can, talking about superhero movies, everything good and bad from a storytelling standpoint. Yeah, so backtracking. You might remember in my review for Batman Begins, I said, overall the story is so engrossing, I couldn't help but love that Roger Ebert's thumb finally went up after being down for all the previous Bat films.
And to get straight to the point, Batman Begins is the fifth Batman movie, but the first one to get it right, to get it absolutely right.
What I should have said was that it was the first live-action Batman movie where Ebert's thumb went up.
And then also here, it's interesting that they really did have a story, more of a story than the movies. And the characters, and they pause, and they think, and they have feelings and motivations, and you get involved in it.
So this grew out of the much-beloved Batman the Animated Series, as in beloved by me and many others. Well, there's a long list of episodes that dip into my #1 storytelling pet peeve, the hesitant villain. I readily embraced it when it first came out, in part because it gave more of what I felt was missing from the Burton and Keaton movies. High-level athleticism that included brute strength and a robust build, and also a good working relationship with Commissioner Gordon. But foundational to its appeal is the strength of its storytelling. The beauty of the whole production that first came forth in 1992 rested largely on the genius of those who got everything started. Bruce Timm jumped at the chance to pitch his ideas to Warner Brothers as they were wanting to bring a Batman cartoon in the wake of the popularity of the first two Batman movies. And Bruce Timm showed his simplistic approach to character design and animation. Then bring on Eric Radomski for his brilliant approach to developing the series' iconic background design to establish the show's powerful atmosphere. Add such writers as Michael Reeves, most notably Paul Dini, and followed by a list of that's just too big to get into. Warner Brothers picked it all up, and the popularity of the series came so quickly that no doubt it got them to get the ball rolling to put together this very movie. What sucks is that somewhere in the development, Warner Brothers didn't have enough faith in the movie to put out enough marketing to create awareness, and thus it was a massive box office flop. But enough build-up, let's go into depth about Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Okay, for clarification to any newbies, I normally start with the bad so I can end the video on a positive note with the good. So, as always, I have to nitpick some of the logic, but really only one happening. Gangster doesn't think to point the gun under the table. But Bruce gets a dramatic public insult at his own banquet, only for the audience to realize the only thing meant to develop from this is for nearby Arthur Reeves to rub that in, and a forced segue for him to add salt to that wound by bringing up Andrea Beaumont. And there's a bit of forced dialogue, a time or two.
There was only one thing wrong. They weren't afraid of me. I've got to strike fear in them from the start.
There's the ham-fisted handling of Andrea's discovery that Bruce is Batman.
Bruce?
But those are all my nitpicks. So if you watch my previous videos reviewing Batman films, you know that in the years that followed Batman and Robin, I had gotten somewhat dissatisfied with the live-action films, wanting to see the next franchise to address the missing fundamentals that I had come to hold near and dear. So until Batman Begins came around, I considered Batman Mask of the Phantasm to be the best Batman film out there, because it was built upon a universe that held true to those fundamentals. And earlier in this video, I gave you so many key names of people that made the Batman animated series a success, but yes, the big one thus far not mentioned, Kevin Conroy. Now, at the risk of bragging, I've been complimented on my voice quality for its range and its depth. But what I'd give to have that voice, and what's more is the talent behind that voice. A graduate of Juilliard, the man has perfect sense of inflection to hit just the right emotions.
Who are you talking to? You think you know everything about me, don't you?
And when a particular moment requires intensity, Small wonder that his career in voicing Batman has run for 30 years. Okay, here's where I get confused in that Siskel and Ebert review I mentioned before.
The Joker, who frankly was better when Jack Nicholson played him in the first movie or Cesar Romero in the cartoon show on TV. I don't like this Joker's voice.
You're too late, Batman!
Now, it might not have changed his opinion, but he seemed ignorant of just who was the Joker's voiceover there. Both Siskel and Ebert were huge Star Wars fans, and to clarify, Siskel died just before Phantom Menace came out. But I can't help but wish I would see just what Siskel's reaction would have been to learn that Mark Hamill voiced the Joker. Regardless, Hamill's Joker's voice hits all the right notes.
Bring in the press, why don't you? What a photo op! Oh, Artie, I'm crushed! Wrong.
He both intimidates and charms at the highest level here. And yeah, what were you thinking, Gene? Not that I'm thinking I'll get an answer. But
that's a scene from Batman Mask of the Phantasm, a Batman animated feature that was made in 1993, and Roger and I never reviewed it, and as far as I'm concerned, we made a big mistake because it's terrific.
So, 1993, Dana Delaney played the hero's love interest in both this movie and in Tombstone. Same spunk, she gets to show a little more heartache in Mask of the Phantasm.
What will vengeance solve?
If anyone knows the answer to that, Bruce, it's you.
And here she makes it work as both the love interest and the villain in desperation. Not actually British, but very convincing in his use of dialect. The character of Alfred needs to be sardonic, yet tough enough to stand up to Bruce when his focus is off. And Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. works that to the hilt.
I've pressed your tights and put away your exploding gas balls.
So this was Hart Bochner's second role in a DC movie, this being the more respectable one. Perhaps it's no coincidence that he was the son of Lloyd Bochner, who voiced Mayor Hill in the series. So, Stacy Keach Jr. Here he ably voices the warm-hearted Mr. Beaumont, as well as, you might say, his daughter, or his daughter replicating his voice in an amplified fashion when she's the Phantasm. Abe Vigoda, he had gotten this role as boss Salvatore Balestra, probably out of nostalgia from the similar role he played in The Godfather. But the premise is strong. While the initial flashback is a little forced, the movie makes great use of the flashback as a plot tool, and the execution of them comes out wonderfully, where Bruce's experience blend in perfectly with the present we had understood from watching the series. A very rare happening. I mean, look at Back to the Future. As much as I enjoy that, it's imperfect in how well they bring cohesion to all that. But I feel so guilty talking about the flashbacks without mentioning the big one. I mean, what else can you call that but the Batman coronation scene? But, bringing in the Phantasm as a villain against villains is an atypical angle that breaks away from the usual villain of the week. The mob villains themselves are interesting, with a fun angle on the Joker's background where he was among them. And you have to stop and realize that these are the big 2 times we get to see the Joker actually kill people in the DC animated universe. Batman's challenges, running from deciding how to handle Andrea's return to Gotham to dealing with the new violence on the streets, all bring high drama to the story. And when you see how far Bruce's fixation on making war on crime in the past, that he's convinced that he will let his parents down if he doesn't follow through, just pulls you in. And it becomes ironic how Andrea becomes just as obsessed that she chooses to literally become a destroying angel. In these videos I've been loading, I've seen in analytics where I've had a viewership drop at certain points, where it could be said that I've made a controversial statement. So here's where that will happen in this video. I like Shirley Walker's Batman theme more than Danny Elfman's. It's all about the same sinister atmosphere, it just feels more commanding to me. He gets warm in the right moments and intensifies when it counts. In the end, the good guys win out, but that resolution is strongly coupled with tragedy. It's action-packed, it's dramatic, and it's worthy to be on the same shelf as the best live-action Batman movies. But that's my take on Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Thank you for watching. Agree, disagree, something I left out, please let me know in the comments section. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe or follow me on Instagram. As always, the link to order Sledge number 1 or number 2 is below in the description. Available in both formats of paper and digital. Or just number 1 is available on Kindle in both formats. Sledge number 3, it's coming around. I'm not a professional publisher, I'm limited resources. So Sledge number 3 is not coming out as quickly as I wish it could. I wish this could be a monthly series, but we're working on it. I love what I keep getting from Tiago. He keeps me ever so excited every time he's giving me something. Let's all look for civility amid all bad news about any hate out there, social and political strife. Let's try to get along. Let's see each other as friends. Let's make friends. Let's not look for enemies. Everyone be safe, and God bless.